This small Texas town has been filled with mystery for more than a century. Marfa, Texas is some 60 miles from the Mexican border, located in the Chihuahuan Desert. The city was established in 1883, but even before then, there were sightings of a bizarre phenomenon that came to be known as the Marfa Lights. Search the internet for Marfa Lights, and this is what you see and hear from people who've encountered them.
You're driving by, you see an odd light that comes and goes. It moves. It fades in and out.
If they would split, they would go diagonally.
But we got very close to it. It was very large and very bright.
I thought I was all smart. Oh, yeah, they're, desert gas things, temperature inversions. And I saw them. I was like, man, I don't know what these are. I was like, oh, I have no idea.
Marfa Lights appear without warning and with no observable pattern. Explanations range from ghosts and UFOs to a simple optical illusion. But so far, nobody knows exactly what causes them. UFO investigator Michael Parker wants to try and solve the mystery.
I'm headed east into Marfa, Texas to see one of the most enduring mysteries of the Southwest, the Marfa Lights. People have been seeing the Marfa Lights here for over 100 years. There's a lot of different ideas as to what they are, but they exist. This is no urban legend. This is real. The question is, what are the lights?
Michael's first stop, a briefing with retired aerospace engineer James Bunnell. He was part of the Cape Kennedy launch team during the manned Apollo space flights.
I devoted over a decade to studying the lights. Let's see, I started in 2001.
James believes most Marfa Lights are probably unusual chemical fires fueled by plasma.
When I say plasma, I'm saying the lights that we see are actually chemical lights. And the chemical, it is burning, the plasma is the source of this light.
Lightning and sparks, for example, are made of plasma. So are stars, which makes plasma the most common form of matter in the universe. Michael will be exploring several Marfa Light explanations, in addition to Bunnell's plasma theory.
We're about 9 miles east of Marfa right now, headed out to the Marfa Viewing Lights platform. I'm going to go meet a guy, Scott Deshane. He's got some really interesting ideas about the Marfa Lights.
Now, people have looked at the Marfa Lights from a lot of different angles, but nobody really knows what they are. What if the Marfa Lights could be some kind of previously undiscovered living thing? What if there's some kind of bioluminescent organism that moves across the desert at night and then hunkers down during the day?
A bioluminescent organism, like a jellyfish, produces light through a chemical reaction. Could the Marfa Lights be some type of undiscovered living organism in the sky?
You're talking about, first of all, a species that's undiscovered. It's bioluminescent, which I've heard of in ocean-going creatures. We're in a desert, and it's flying. That's a lot.
It is a lot, but there's only one way to find out if it's a possibility, and that's to get a good look at them.
To get a look at the Marfa Lights, Michael and Scott want to get close to where they appear. But they're not going in alone. They've recruited a fully mobile, high-end infrared camera that can see in the dark. The team has gained access to some highly restricted areas where the lights are known to appear. Will these advantages help them find the mysterious Marfa Lights? UFO investigator Michael Parker and his team are in Texas trying to solve the mystery of the Marfa Lights. They've got special access to some restricted desert backcountry for their search. The team plans to set up a base camp several miles from the nearest highways. FLIR Systems is assisting the investigation by rolling out some of the world's most advanced thermal imaging and stabilized camera systems. No one has ever hunted the Marfa Lights with this kind of visual firepower.
Roy, tell me what we're looking at right now.
Well, on the top two screens here, I've got a visible camera, similar to your movie cameras, that's functioning in the visible spectrum, like you're normally used to. Over here, you'll see that we've got a thermal camera, and the thermal camera is picking up the heat signature only. I can cheat a little and make this a little bit easier for us to see.
The infrared camera will pick up anything giving off heat, like these wild desert boars.
Roy, just say we saw a Marfa light at a range of 10, 12, 15 miles. Would you be able to catch that quick enough for us to see it?
Oh, absolutely. The camera is capable of picking up a 6-foot man out to 9, 10 miles. Now, he's going to be very small, but I'm still going to be able to detect his thermal signature against the background.
Home base is established. The Marfa lights are only visible at night, but where do they come from? According to Scott DeShane, they may be living creatures that stay in the ground during the day and illuminate the sky at night. That's the first theory the team explores. David Williams manages a ranch in an area where Marfa lights have been seen. Could it support the kind of life form Scott is looking for?
Wow. What an amazing habitat. In the middle of this wild desert, you got this sanctuary here.
The crew pushes on further and explores a set of caves above.
What's that?
Oh, there's a bone. That looks like out of a cow or a calf.
Is the animal still being here?
Anything's possible.
Could this small oasis be a daytime home for some luminous creatures? While Scott still favors the Marfa light organism theory, Michael wants to see if the lights may be caused by the local geology. So he brings in geoscientist Ben McGee.
Michael Parker brought me out to take a look at Mitchell Flats, which is over my shoulder, which is where the Marfa lights traditionally have been seen.
First, Ben sets up a base camp of his own.
What you're looking at here is a light meteorology station, or MET station as we call it. It's collecting temperature, relative humidity, wind direction, and wind speed. So together, this makes for a very baseline setup, and then makes sure we get some good data to calibrate, essentially, anything that we see out in the sky.
Understood.
Mysterious lights seem to show up in geologically unstable areas, near fault zones, volcanoes, or regions with seismic activity. Marfa, Texas is surrounded by several fault lines and 2 now extinct volcanoes. The faults cut deep beneath the desert. That geologic stress creates electrical energy, which charges the air above. According to Ben, if the charge gets too big, it may be released in a sudden glow that locals call Marfa lights. Ben demonstrates on a small scale how Marfa lights might be generated.
If you're running with the hypothesis that Marfa lights are ionized gas, this is what a Marfa light would look like. This color. Just like that.
But what if there's an explanation for the lights that's so simple it's embarrassing? Some skeptics believe the Marfa lights are merely car headlights on a distant road. The base camp lies east of Highway 67. To the south is a tower with visible red warning lights.
If you look behind me, you're going to see a radio tower beacon. To the right of that radio tower, you'll see a string of lights. These white lights, many people believe, are Marfa lights. We think they may be car headlights. So to test that, we've got Ben in a car on that far horizon. He's going to drive back towards us. We're going to see if we can find his car and see if that looks like a Marfa light.
Mike, this is Ben. You copy?
Even though Ben is 10 miles away, the team will use the thermal camera to locate him on the other side of the desert.
Right here?
Ben, we see you loud and clear.
Copy that. I can't tell you how unnerving that is, considering how far away you are.
With Ben and his car identified, the headlight test can begin. The results are startling.
Yes, Ben, this is Michael. We're watching you on the monitor, and you look like a Marfa light.
UFO investigator Michael Parker has led a research team with a truckload of top technology to West Texas. They'll attempt to solve the mystery of the Marfa Lights. They're testing a theory that the phenomenon is nothing more than headlights on nearby Highway 67. Geoscientist Ben McGee is now driving on the highway. How will his headlights look to the team at base camp?
Standing by.
Yes, Ben, this is Michael. Just come on in. We were watching you on the monitor looking at the lights, and you look like a Marfa light.
This is a pretty good indication that some of what people are calling Marfa lights may be the car headlights on Highway 67.
But there have been reported sightings of the Marfa Lights since 1883, before the automobile was invented. So not all Marfa Light sightings can be chalked up to headlights. After the headlight test, the team at base camp turns their cameras away from the highway and towards the open desert without roads. If they film any sighting in this direction, they'll have original footage of what is almost certainly real Marfa Lights.
Yeah, you can see it, the front head.
So we just got the base camp set up. Everybody's busy. We're feeling good. We're ready to do this. We got the FLIR truck up. They've got the thermal lens that's going to be very helpful tonight. We've also got a super telephoto lens over my shoulder behind us. If the lights show up, we're going to document it probably better than it's ever been documented before. So I'm excited. I hope they show up. We're ready for them.
The team waits and waits and waits, but the Marfa Lights never appear. The team decides to suspend their search for the night. Day number 2, time for a new approach. Scott believes that if the Marfa Lights are living creatures, it's possible they can be lured out, like moths to bright lights. He and Dave Williams set up 3 beacons several miles from base camp. They will strobe at 3 different rhythms and colors: amber, blue, and green.
Some bioluminescent organisms use light to communicate or to protect themselves. If the Marfa Lights happen to be bioluminescent organisms, we're going to see if we can attract them using these beacons.
Perfect. At this point in the investigation, we're inside the FLIR truck. I'm looking at the monitor with Roy. We can see 2 of the first beacons that Scott has put down there in the field with David.
You going up there?
Yeah.
So that's sort of a hunting lodge of some kind?
I'm going to put a 3rd beacon down, which we are hopefully going to see in real time. Scott has this idea that the bioluminescent creatures might be attracted to light. And hopefully, the lights will come to our lights.
That'll hold it. All righty.
See that? There's the 3rd strobe coming up.
Michael for Scott.
Michael for Scott. Loud and clear from up here. That's great.
Minutes after the final strobe is put into place, Michael spots something in the distance.
You guys see that? Wait a minute, where'd that come from?
Hey, you guys, where's Scott? Scott needs to see this. You can tell to the left.
I need you to come take a look at this. The FLIR truck guys get a beat on this? ASAP.
I don't know how long it's going to last.
It's night number 2 for UFO investigator Michael Parker and his team. They're hunkered down in the Texas desert, searching for the mysterious and elusive Marfa Lights. To attract the lights, they placed 3 blinking beacons a few miles from base camp. Within minutes, something unusual appears in the sky.
You guys see that?
Wait a minute, where'd that come from?
Hold on.
Where's Scott? Scott needs to see this. Now it's dimming.
That right there.
The crew rushes into action.
Whoa, look how bright that is.
Then they discover something no one can explain.
There's something beside it now. See something very faint to its right?
These aren't headlights. No roads run anywhere in this direction. Could it be the real thing?
This may be the first bona fide Marfa Light of the evening.
I'm glad the cameras can see it because I'm having difficulty seeing it now.
Actually, it's separated into 3 little lights.
Did considerably, Scott. It was very bright earlier. It's come on. It's gone off. It's remained stationary the entire time. It's
The light is suddenly gone. Video playback may help the team make sense of what they just saw.
That's the first shot.
Okay. This got a little tail off to the right.
Okay, now it's blinking. It's going to come back here in a second. Kind of disappeared on me for a minute.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. It's going to come back. There it is. Now it moved on me, so I had to move.
Well, this one was particularly conspicuous because it's not pointed at what we think could be the highway.
There's big back.
Oh, look at that.
Dave, what do you think that could be?
I don't know. That's really unusual. You know, there's no cars out there. There's no roads. That's just wide open country. You know, you might actually have the Marfa Lights here. This is unusual. It's incredible.
This is it. This is what the team came here to find.
Really strange.
In the FLIR truck, Roy has just encountered something even more strange, close to the ground.
No, I was just watching here in the visible, and then I came across this thermal signature here that was just, it caught my eye because you can see if you look everywhere else back here, you don't see anything that's that bright.
The mysterious lights, one large and several small, are giving off heat. But why?
What's out in this direction?
Well, you know, there's some ranch houses out there, but, you know, we're in such a drought right now. Nobody's going to have a campfire going right now.
There's no explanation for the cluster of heat-radiating lights. And there's no explanation for what Roy sees next. If a light shows up in one camera, it should show up in the other. However, when Roy spots a light hovering just above the desert floor in the visible camera, it doesn't follow that rule.
There's nothing in the thermal signature that corresponds to this bright light that all of a sudden, and as I was panning around, this just caught my eye. And now I've zoomed in on it, so it's scintillating like the image. Now, where did it go? Why did it fade like that? And there it comes back again.
This is the same exact spot.
This is the thermal signature of that visible phenomena, and I just can't explain why I can see it in the visible and I can't see it in the thermal.
This light, whatever it is, doesn't seem to be generating enough heat to be picked up by a thermal camera. What could that mean?
There is one phenomenon that we know of in nature, repeatedly, of light that's generated without generating heat, and that's bioluminescence.
While the bioluminescence itself wouldn't generate heat, well, the organism taking advantage of the bioluminescence probably would.
Ben believes geology may still play a role in what he just saw.
We know that there are lots of electrical currents that are produced even with subtle changes in the rock and groundwater, and there's a hot spring there too. So why not? Maybe this is actually a place we can tap into a rare conjunction of geology and meteorology that's producing something unique.
The use of unprecedented technology has only deepened the Marfa mystery. But one fact is indisputable. Our cameras captured several luminous objects that everyone can see, but no one can explain.
Going in, I was going, no, come on, Marfa Lights, but I can't describe that.
Boys, I don't think we're going to solve it tonight. But this has been a good one. Well, great work, gentlemen. You did a fantastic job. I came to Marfa hoping to witness the lights for myself, and I'm convinced that I did. But as far as getting any closer to knowing what they are, I'm not sure we have that answer yet. Maybe that's the way Marfa wants it.